more than power. It's like a freaky, weird deal. But I've also been doing this for like 32 years, 33 years. Let me know when we're live. If you ever miss the class, or you're traveling, RVing, kind of visiting the kids, whatever, you want to jump in on the class, we do live stream it. It's on our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and it's our LinkedIn. So mainly it's YouTube seems to be where people jump in on it. And then it will upload to all of those as soon as we're done. It takes a few minutes, but it'll spool up, and then it's there if you want to check it out later. So let me know. Oh, we are live. Oh, you gotta tell me these. Hey, you all, we're so glad you tuned in. You are here at Waters Garden Center. I am your host and owner, master slave, plumber, whatever it takes to keep the business running. My name's Ken. I own the place. My wife is working today. My daughter is working today. So it's truly a family business. How did Ken Lane come to own Waters Garden Center? Well, Harold Waters had 4 very pretty daughters, and I took a liking to the youngest, prettiest, I think, some 38 years ago. And so he passed the baton to us, and then we're passing the baton to our daughter, Mackenzie. She's now training to take the garden center, so I can retire sometime. Is the goal. It's the dream, right? Keeping the family business. So she's doing fantastic. She was Retailer of the Year in our industry. That's the highest honor you can get in our industry. She was Retailer of the Year, Young Retailer of the Year. So she's, I won't say how old because she's female, but basically she's old enough to run a business, to be the general manager and stuff. So, but she'll be flying back to Columbus, Ohio next month to pass the baton to the next Retailer of the Year. So it's kind of an insider club or whatever for sorority, fraternity. It's a huge honor. Anyway, that's who we are. We started back in 1962. Harold Waters started with a station wagon. He's a really good storyteller. A borrowed wheelbarrow and a shovel is the way he tells it. It is a pretty good story. Started a landscape business, and then he started a retail operation. We just kept it going all that time. As the town grows, we seem to be able to grow with it. We have learned a few things since that time on how to grow plants. If you're from other places, basically forget all you know, reboot, and start over, especially if you're from the deserts, Palm Springs, Phoenix, Tucson, all that garden information, it don't work up here. It's a different plant mix, different plant palette. We're more like Denver, more like the colder regions than we are like the warmer regions because of the altitude. One thing that you'll play with is if you're from California, especially grape country, which I did a corporate tour up in Northern California for a while. That is very much a wine grape culture. Like you get together, hey, I just bottled this last year. We're going to try it out. You want to come over for dinner? That's the whole thing. Generally, it's terrible wine. It's sour, but you got to go because you're friends and try it out. Sometimes it's really good. You never know. You can do that here as well. We're finding that vineyards are doing better than we thought they would, especially over in the Verde area. But they'll do equally as well over here. Mainly, we're growing here table grapes, Concords, Emerauds, that kind of stuff. What you'll find here, though, is the berries of the grapes will be just a touch smaller because of the alkalinity. So our water is extremely alkaline, and the dryness. So you tend to have a little bit smaller, but sweeter berry, and there'll be a lot of them. So there'll be so many. Just if you're comparing notes to back in Portland, I grew berries as big as my golf ball. It maybe not quite as big here, but it'll be. You can have some great success. So I'm going to cover today grapes, the berries. What kind of berries? Raspberries, blackberries, figs. We got to cover that. Let's see what else. Strawberries. Got to get those. Strawberries are coming off right now, so I had fresh strawberry yesterday. And how to grow each. Okay, how to fertilize, how to keep them going. And then we'll go over how to plant, how to put them in the ground so they grow. And then I thought I would cover some mosquito stuff because mosquitoes and flies, they're out. So because of this rain, the coolness, I think they're really out. So there's some strategies. We'll do that all in about, I don't know, 55 minutes or less. Sound good? Before we start, I've got a few handouts. I wrote the 10 berries you can grow in containers. There's some that are smaller. You don't have to be in the yard. You can be in the container. I wrote an article on the 12 medicinal native plants. I thought, oh, this is a gardener group. They would like that one. Like, there's if you harvest the roots of a blackberry, it's good for diarrhea back in the day of wagon wheel. I don't know, that kind of stuff. It's interesting. It's fun. You'll like it. I'll email that to you this afternoon if you want to put your email down. If you don't, you won't get it. And I told you I'd give you the water guide too. So you got my business card. You folks online, of course, you should get in here and talk to me this afternoon at least. But you've got the stuff on the sidebar. You can actually download all those handouts right now. Just hit the link, you got it. Let's start though with watering, because I told you to mention that we need to adjust those clocks right now. If you've got established trees and shrubs, they've been in the ground for, let's say, even vines, grapes, that kind of stuff. They've been in the ground for at least a couple seasons. The roots are fully mature. You could probably water about once a week. A deep soak is real good. Trees, shrubs, roses. If they're smaller plants, maybe you can cheat that a little bit, go up to every 5 days. The mistake I find most people make, they're new to the area, new to drip irrigation, micro irrigation, they water way too much. Especially you poor folks in Chino Valley and Paulden, where the water's free. You just run it all the time, and you tend to kill things by overwatering. So plants need to breathe in between the water cycles. If you fill up all those air pockets in the soil with water molecules, they will drown. And so you need to back off a little bit. Water more, keep all that water, but water it all at once. So water penetrates real far down into the soil, but then let it dry out. If you've got a whole bunch of new plants, let's say you're remodeling your backyard, you bought someone else's gardens, now you're kind of making your own. You've got a lot of established things there, but you put some new stuff in too. There you're probably watering twice a week. And what I do when I'm adding, because I'm always adding new plants, I'm a plant nerd. I own a garden center. So I like putting new plants in. Come. That's going to be in July typically, but it can be really hot and dry until then. So you kind of want to watch after those plants because you got all those new foliage. So they're more sensitive than let's say later in the year with their thick established foliage, especially the evergreens, the juniper, not so much junipers. Junipers a little bit, but pine, spruce. They put those new tips growing up. If they get dry, they get real wilty. They're kind of crybabies. I'm dry, and they start to wilt. You go, oh, cute. There's my water cycle. I went 6 days before it did that. I can water about every 6 days. So plants will talk to you if you're listening. So, okay? Your flowers, vegetables, things in containers, probably that's a lot more often. So that's probably every day. And it's best to water in the morning before the heat of the day. Don't water in the evening. Water in the morning. You want to hydrate things before the heat of the day because it's just like you're going on a hike up Thumb Butte. You're going to hydrate before you head up there and probably carry a water bottle with you or a backpack or something. And so plants are just like people. Before they take on the heat of the day, they want to hydrate. So if you can water before 8 o'clock in the morning, that's the best. Okay, hold on just a second. That goes for your trees and shrubs as well. The mistake Phoenix people make, desert folks, poor flatlanders, you can recover. You'll get better. We can help you. We can help you get better at this. They say water at night. It'd be better at night. Of course, it's still 100 degrees and it's midnight down there. Who lives that close to the sun? That's crazy. Come up to God's country where you can water in the morning. And it doesn't, if we water at night here, things will stay wet. And now you've got fungal issues and spots, wiltings, and all kinds of problems happen. It's better to have plants go dry in the evening up here. You want to hydrate in the morning. Just kind of, you can believe if you check your Google machine, called your phone or whatever, it's going to tell you all kinds of crazy stuff. Just, I'm Ken. I'm your friend. This is how I do it. It really helps. Otherwise, I'm going to make a bunch of money off of you because you're going to come in with spots and mildews and need all kinds of sprays, everything else. For my friends, I just want you to have better gardens with less care. So water in the morning. Water about once a week. You establish things twice a week for new rose bushes, new grapes and berries, and then flowers and things like that. They're probably going to water every day. Okay. Now we had a question right here.
Yes. How long do you water?
How long do you water? I have no idea. So generally, it depends on your emitter size and how many emitters you have. Generally, we are using 1 gallon per hour emitter heads. Contractor put it in. That's kind of a standard go-to, 1 gallon per hour. So this has got to run for an hour to get 1 gallon. So a plant, say this 5-gallon rose of Sharon, this is going to need about 5 gallons of water per week. A 10-gallon tree is probably going to need about 10 gallons of water a week. Guess how much a 15-gallon tree needs? About 15 gallons. So you might need a couple emitter heads if it's a bigger plant, 2 or 3 emitter heads to run that system. You're probably going to run the system for 1 gallon per hour. You don't need 1 emitter head, 5 hours, or 2.5 hour cycles. Or you'd have 2 emitter heads. So you've got to do a little bit of math with these drip irrigations. You folks that are doing it by hand, the old school way, God, love you guys. An inch of water will penetrate about 6 inches of soil. It's a good visual for you. And so if this plant has a foot root structure, you need probably about a couple inches of water for it to penetrate that entire root mass. So it's a little tricky. And in my yard, I'm overlooking the Dells, beautiful vistas. They dug the hillside out to put this 2-story monstrosity in. It's our old family house. The backyard is completely different than the front yard because the house is shading the back. The soil changes that far down. It's like 20, 30 feet below. The soil changes. And so you'll have some of that in your own gardens as well. So maybe not so much in Granville and some of those places, the valley areas, because it's just solid clay. So it might be you have to water a little less because clay soil holds moisture in the soil better. The closer you get to Granite Mountain, the sandier and more granity that soil gets, the water just goes right through. You might need to bump it up just a touch. That's where you got to put your garden hat on. This is a guide, gets me close, and then you adjust it from there. But start with that water guide. That'll get you at least close. You can tweak it from there. Isn't that pretty? These are starting to bloom all around town. This is a hardy hibiscus. We call it locally Rose of Sharon. But it's truly hibiscus. It's the hardiest of published ones that are probably taller than I am, 10 feet tall, and about this wide. Beautiful bush. It's a companion we put in with lilacs, bloomers. We try to plant them so the lilacs bloom, and then when they're done, this blooms, and when this done, the crepe myrtles bloom. There's this rotation of color out the landscape. But a true hardy landscape shrub that we use here often. So you folks in Phoenix, the desert areas, you wish you could grow this. You can't. It needs the cold. This needs to go through it's a deciduous plant. It needs to rest so it can do this fabulous bloom thing again. Literally, I've had this so heavy, if you fertilize it right, I literally had one fall over one year. It had so many flowers on it. It just went, boom, come across, take me back up. It was fine, but it was just loves to show off. Butterflies like it. Comes in a lot of different colors. I got a new one out. It's called the Pillar Series. So this gets quite large. Too large for some smaller lots or a property line between the houses. So they have a Pillar Series. So it goes 8 feet tall, only this wide. Perfect. Now you can have it off the back patio. You can have it in a container, big pot, at either side of the garage. You can have fun with it. Whereas this one, you can't have as much fun. This is just a big showpiece. Put it in the back corner to soften up the fence lines. That's where you plant these. So there's places for it. Rose of Sharon. This is the one you guys grow in Phoenix. This is the tropical one. There's no flower like that. Any other plant, there's nothing like that. That richness, the textures. We sell these, we use them kind of like citrus. So you cannot grow oranges, lemons, Myers, any of that stuff outdoors here. You can have it outdoors in a pot. Tip with this is it's going to bloom like, you see all the buds. It will do this nonstop now and through October. Just it's a crazy bloomer. They will confuse you. They say, let it shut down, stop watering it, just let it go dormant. Don't do that. What I find is if you keep fertilizing it, it'll keep blooming. So it's smaller in size. Bring it indoors, fertilize it, starts to bloom. If you don't let it shut down, when you bring it back outdoors next April, it just takes off. I mean, just instantly starts blooming like crazy. If you let it shut down, so this insider tip I give you is, I fertilize this with Flower Power, this stuff here. Flower Power, fertilize it with this, keeps doing this. I'll keep doing this inside the house. And so kind of different ways to use things. And then I'll leave it for this. Didn't mean to cover hibiscus quite so much. But kind of exciting. This one will actually die back to the ground, hibernate underground, and it will come back fresh every year with this beautiful 3x3, 4x4 shrub. And it's the one that has these great big flowers, big as your hand. I mean, it's in summer. Obviously, it's still coming up. This is a new series with this purple color to it. But literally, this will be covered in flowers this big all over it. It's called the Shudo series of hibiscus, hardy hibiscus. Okay? So you have three types. Did you learn something about hibiscus? I hope. It's kind of exciting. It's kind of fun. Okay, let's go with blueberries. Let's go with that. You can grow blueberries. It is the most difficult of all the berries and grapes to grow. Okay, but you're gardeners. You're here at a garden class. First one of summer. You're the ones that buy blueberries. So they can do this. What I find is it's not the cold, it's the alkalinity. Our water and our soil is extremely alkaline. And these things love extreme acid. So when you plant it in a container or raised bed, you can plant it in straight potting soil. Potting soil, I don't know if I have a bag of that, but potting soil is mainly peat moss. It's mainly green. So water acidic. That makes these things happy. And then whenever you're fertilizing this, fertilize it with an acidic-based fertilizer. Or something real high in phosphorus down for you. So cake makes it more acidic. And it increases the berry size. So that's a lot of folks that are new to gardening here. They go out and plant this in the yard off their back patio or something in the gardens. and then it's yellow. Toto, you're not in Minnesota anymore. So they're going to like, because mainly the alkalinity. It's not the sun, it's not the cold, it's the water. Every time you water, you're raising that pH above the charts. You're going to counteract some of that. Whereas blackberries, they don't care. Raspberries, they don't care. Blueberries, they care. Okay. So isn't that thing loaded? Look at that. That's super good. Way better than Costco. Yeah. Sun, they like sun. So I'd say give blueberries at least 6 hours of sun. So it works out. What I find is my berries, for blueberries specific, if I give it real bright morning or evening sun, it loves that. The berries get a little small. It's in that midday June heat. So a half day, like morning sun, would be perfect. Then your berry size will be bigger. That berry melted in your mouth like you've never tasted anything. Fresh berries. Blueberries, oh my gosh, that's really good. Okay. It does take 2 blueberries. Can't have 1. 2. They got to be different because they pollinate each other. Pick the 2 you like, doesn't matter, but it takes 2. Much like fruit trees, you need a pollinator. Blueberries need 2 as well. Okay, so it's kind of think in those terms. Let's still go to raspberries. I brought this one. Raspberries are raspberries. They all look the same. They all grow the same. This one has this gold berry to it. Super good. It really is. It's better. That last few days on the canes, game changer for flavor and sweetness. So you can grow the black ones, you can grow the red ones, you can grow the gold ones. They're going to take full sun. They need something to climb up. So I put mine on my fence. I just have 6-foot cedar fence. It's kind of boring. I want to soften that up and make it feel like a secret garden. So I've got grapes on the lower half and berries on the upper half. And it just is beautiful. So these are the secret with these. Rich soil. So you plant it, you're going to add some compost or mulch, this kind of stuff. This is ideal. This is made for planting trees and shrubs. So mulch. It's composted. Looks like coffee grounds. It's composted wood material. It's made to loosen the soil. So the soil you're going to dig out in the valley areas, you're going to dig the soil up. It's going to be hard. You're going to need a digging bar. Some of you are going to need a jackhammer. You dig the hole up, and then if you put that same soil around that root, it's going to compact right back to clay, and the roots are going to struggle to get through. You're going to loosen that up with some compost that's changing the structure of the soil. So now that soil can't compact right back down, so the roots can get through it. It's going to help with drainage, aeration, a lot of benefits to it. It's going to attract the worms, mycorrhizal colonies, all kinds of good stuff that happens with compost. If I have any left over, I'll top dress that top area with about a 2 to 3 inch layer of mulch. And what that does, it keeps the moisture in. That's great. What we have here is a challenge. I mentioned this on the radio show. How many people heard the podcast or radio show? Oh, not that many. I'm so disappointed in myself. Oh, how many people only listen to like satellite radio? No one. Oh, well, got radio? Okay. I listen to satellite, I listen to everything. On this week's radio show, I mentioned top dress your soil right now because we've gone from cool, we're going to go to hot, and I know what's going to happen. The soil is going to sunburn. Literally, like you're in the sun for a day and a half. What's your skin going to do? The soil does exactly the same thing. And so if it starts to crack and break, it will start to break all those new root hairs that have been forming for the last month and a half. It'll start breaking those. So you actually start going backwards in root growth and plant health. Just by putting a top layer of shredded cedar bark or mulch or anything, just keep the sun off the soil. Game changer. It keeps it from cracking or drying out or something. That's something you got to watch. Once a monsoon rain comes, the pressure's off because now we got afternoon clouds. There could be moisture. The humidity goes up, but there's a pressure point the next month or so where it is a cause of concern for gardeners. Okay. The other thing with berries, this is grapes, not so much grapes, definitely blackberries, raspberries, marionberries, boysenberries. They're all going to be very sensitive. The mistake I find, this soil that you see here should be left open. Don't bury it. Don't let any of your garden soil touch the stems or it will die. Okay, any amount of soil touching here, you get some called a crown rot, or there's some bacterial things that happen, and berries are really sensitive to that. So just keep this open. So if you're top dressing with mulch or something, don't let it accidentally go over the canes, or you could lose part of that cane. Okay, it probably won't kill the bush, but I've seen that mistake too many times. It's a rookie mistake, but it kind of grows out of it. But why go backwards a step or two? Why not just go forward and have more berries? So just watch that. Be careful with that. Okay, blackberries the same way. We got marionberries over there. There's all kind of berries over there. Just don't let berries get any soil on their canes, or you'll pay the price. Okay. Blackberries. Do we have blackberries on this? I want one. I do have a blackberry. Okay. Blackberries. This thing's a weed. I planted one, and it's like 12-foot long, taller than I am. I got to cut it back every year to keep it in check. It loads up with berries. The grandkids came over. We'll pick berries until our faces, till their mother just says, "What have you been doing to my kids?" Because we've been eating so many berries. The hands are black, lips are black. It's a joy. So you can have, this is probably my best producer, blackberries. If you only plant one, you're not sure which one, probably blackberry, then raspberries, then it would be blueberries. Okay, those are the main ones that we grow. Then you get into the obscure. Figs. Not as many people love figs, but they do grow here. Kiwi, I've got kiwi over there. There's a hardy variety that grows, but that's not the norm. Berries are, these are the best. Here at Waters are the best sellers. Okay. Blackberries, I really like the thornless varieties. I find they produce just as well as the thorned ones, and I don't look like I've been in a cat fight after I've been picking some berries. So they're smoother, they're just easier to maintain. You don't need fancy, thick gloves to prune them in the winter. Here's the insider tip with blackberries. They produce the most fruit on second-year wood. So you plant it, it puts that gigantic cane out. Next year, that cane is going to be loaded with hundreds of berries. That's it. And what I do is, to keep the birds off, I'll put some flashy bird scare tape on it. I'll just tie a piece on that cane, keep the berries off of. Then I know, oh, that's the one I need to prune in the winter. So I leave it on there and I go, that's the one. And I'll prune that off to the ground. And I'll keep the fresh new one that didn't really have fruit on it last year. That one doesn't have a flashy bird scare tape. And so I know that's the one, because in winter, they're all just jumbled of canes. It's hard to remember which one was which. So that's kind of just a little thing that I do to help myself. I think it might help you too. So yeah, there's a question back here.
For the thorny blackberries taste better? I mean, it might be better, but worth the bloodletting too.
Yeah, you got it. So this question is, we know you're there. We wish you were here, but we're glad you're tuned in. He said, which one tastes better? It's a matter of opinion. I don't find there's a difference. Blackberries are blackberries. I've thorned or thornless. I find I personally can't tell the difference. But if you find fruit over there, feel free. They're all organic. So taste them out. Have your own taste buds. Check it out for you. So I go with thornless just because it's a big plant. And I don't want to be caught. It's right by the fence line where I walk back and forth. I don't want to be caught every time walking by it. So, yeah. Do you use netting to keep the birds away? I don't on my berries. I don't find it's that much of a problem. And I'm a bird. I mean, birds love my backyard. I don't have feeders, but I've got water and all the habitats for them. it's kind of a nuisance sometimes. There's so many birds. I don't have problems. So if you could put some netting. Grapes are a little bit different. Grapes can sometimes get birds on them. So you can do some things there. I find the scare tape works really, really well. That's that 2-color tape, kind of puts streams about that far on it. The insider tip with bird scare tape, I can tell you, it's a little hard knocks. Don't put it on too early because they get used to it. So you want to put it on about the time you're looking at your fruit going, oh, this is going to be good. Oh, I think we're just days away. I can't wait. You know what the birds are doing? Going, ooh, that's looking good. We're just days away. Oh my gosh, they're looking at it just like you are. So put it on about right then. That'll they won't get used to it in the time that it takes you to pick whether it's berries or peaches or apricots or apples. It'll just scare them. Don't put it on too early. Yeah. Do you use flower power, this stuff, on the berries? I don't, unless it's in a container. Container gardens, I use this in my container gardens and my raised flower beds. It's a water-soluble food. It's got a little scoop in there. Got my 2 watering cans. I just mix a couple gallons up, and every couple of weeks I give all my container gardens this. And they're magnificent. For my bigger trees and shrubs, I made a fruit and vegetable food. This is specifically designed for here to make bigger apples, strawberries, blueberries, whatever. It's completely organic, and it's a 6-4-4-7 recipe. So I know you're going to struggle with calcium. So your tomatoes will get this black spot on the back. Your squash will start to form and it'll turn yellow and just fall off. Why? Why did it do that? Your fruits will be a little bit smaller. So your apples, your peaches, that's all calcium driven. So if you could juice the fertilizer with a little bit more calcium, you'll get, that's what brings out the flavor and the size of fruits. I can help you with that. And we made a fertilizer called Fruit and Vegetable Food, only available at Waters Garden Center. That's what I use out in the yard for the bigger trees and shrubs and stuff. So that's what I do. Okay. Yeah.
Talking about the birds attacking, I have white grapes. And I thought, well, gee, I don't mind giving them a few grapes. No.
They pick one.
They turn into raisins.
Yeah.
So I make all of them 3 net bags.
Yeah.
For every cluster. And that's what I use them for. The sparkly stuff that works for me.
Okay, gotcha. Sure, that's bad. So the sparkly stuff didn't work as well. They're pecking every single little fruit. So they turn in Gerald to use little bags. You put them each one in a little tiny gift bag on the vine. So that's a standard commercial way to do it. Let's talk about grapes. I brought one that I would kind of go after. Grapes are one of the very few plants that I do plant deep. So I will look for a grape that has a tall stem so I can plant it. I would literally plant this thing up this deep. It's one of the very few plants. If you do that, so it gets the roots down deeper, and it will start forming root hairs off the side of that vine, that cane. So it's one of the few plants. Tomatoes and grapes are the only 2 plants you can do that with. Everything else will get crown rot. It's just things that happen. But this one, I would look for a leggy. I'd look for a tall one. But I've got some exposure, and I would literally plant it that deep, and I'd bury this underneath the ground. Okay, so that's one of the few. No matter the variety, that's what I would do. All grapes are that way, whether it's a Chardonnay or a Concord. Or a green table grape. This is in others. You only want to plant the cold hardy varieties. Because if you put a summer variety, something goes down to Phoenix, some of those, they won't winter over up here. They get killed off every few years, they get killed off. So do your homework, or just shop at Waters Garden Center. We've done that work for you because we only sell the mountain varieties. So we'll have the Hemrod green variety because it's hardier from here. It'll go through that winter but not even flinch. Okay. So these are all about pruning technique. Doesn't matter the variety. I am pretty brutal when it comes to pruning. From January through March, anytime in that window, doesn't matter, pick a nice day. You're tired of sipping tea and baking cookies, you want to be outdoors, go prune. With this, I just basically, this is where you get really confused because everything is agriculturally positioned. It's all about getting the most grapes per acre, most harvest, more bushels. I think in your backyard, we're wanting beauty. I think we can blend the two together. So for mine, I've got 6-foot cedar fence. I didn't do the commercial hip high because it's easier to basically pick the fruit. I wanted beauty. So I went to the top of the fence, then I went this way. So there can be some artistry to this. So don't believe everything you read on the net. You can hybridize that to make it beautiful too. They are going to want to climb up stuff. If you stand still next to a grapevine, they will start to attach themselves to you and want to come in for dinner. They're already out there. They've already got this much growth on them. My own grapes are already way out there. They're not anywhere close to being producing yet, but you're starting to see activity. The mistake people make with these, they think they died. So I get phone calls every mag on, I think my grapes, they died. They're not coming out. They have no interest in spring. They only like summer. So they're going to wait until it's warm enough to start leafing out. So don't lose your head with grapes. They're just late bloomers. Figs are the same way. My fig died. Oh my God, figs have no interest. They're going to wait till it's warmer to start leafing out. But when they do, whoo, they take off with gusto. Okay. What else can I tell you about grapes? Heavy feeders, be consistent. That's where this vegetable food, grapes love it. I think that's pretty much it. Pick your favorite variety. Mainly you're going to see over there table grapes. There's a few that have the old-fashioned varieties, but basically they're seedless. Pick your color, purple, red, or green, and you can have more grapes than you know what to do with. Yeah. Go ahead. But we'll just go in line.
Oh, so would it wouldn't be too late to plant?
Oh, no, you're not too late to plant those. No, they would match. So you're not too late to plant any of these. It's actually better now because the soil's finally warm. So they'll root. I mean, they'll start rooting like day one. Whereas if you plant them too early, they're just sitting there waiting to rot because of too much that last snow event, or just kind of they like it when it's they're root faster. Yeah.
A note about me. Last year, I thought the heck with you. I left it just totally alone. I got about 25.
Yeah.
So how do you prune?
So how do you prune? There's a whole class on that when it's time, but right now can't go that deep.
Okay.
What you'll find is if you do a major pruning, and this is for grapes, berries, at fruit trees, if you do production, the following year will be blockbuster. There's a cycle to it. If you're just doing light pruning or light haircut kind of stuff, you can keep it more consistent. So that's probably what happens on that one. So now you know what to do. Only to keep doing that, you're going to have this tree get too big. Yeah.
So my question is kind of like that. So the branches, how far do you cut off?
So for me, again, I'm doing what I do in my backyard. I'm a gardener. I'm not a near this growing. I need an extra. So I go with a double T. So I go up to 6 foot, tee it off. The trunk is probably like this on it. It's been in for a few years. And so I cut it off about right there. And I got this tee, and then I do it at the 3 foot level. Just because technically I think I'm supposed to do that. I should, so I did it. And it does soften up. I don't want to see the fence. Just want to see beautiful grapes and vines. So that's how I do it, and I get pretty good production of that. Fertilizing's a key. You don't have food in your soil here. There's actually nothing good fertilized more often. It's really hard for you Midwest folks. You know, from Iowa, we never fertilize. Well, we have 8 foot topsoil. You don't have to. Here you got 8 millimeters. If that, the contractor scraped off all the good stuff, and you're left with caliche. They'll start to yellow. They won't fruit as much. Those fruits will be small. That's all food. It needs more food. Okay. Figs. Let's see. Did it finish grapes? I think that's good. There is a bug that gets on this like pretty regularly. I didn't see him last year, but I had him the 2 years before that. There's a beautiful little caterpillar. Red and yellow skin, and they just skeletonize the foliage. If you see that, come see us right away. And we've got an organic spray that takes them right out. If you don't see that, don't worry about it. But don't wait. I'll get that next weekend. No, come right away, because they can do damage. I mean, you could watch it happen by the day. Right now, we're seeing a hummingbird moth or sphinx moth. You know what she's doing? She's laying eggs in your tomatoes right now. And then the larva will be a gigantic green caterpillar. It's about the size of a jugular vein sucking alien form. It's gigantic, but they can strip a tomato or potato, any of the nightshade family, they can strip those things within days. And it won't be very tight. So watch for that. If you see it, there's an organic spray. It takes them right out. But if you don't see that, don't worry about it. But you just have to be ready when you see that to act right away. So I always just have the caterpillar killer sprayer because I know I'm going to see caterpillars. I just have it there to shoot them when I see them. But they like grapes. Watch that. It's a different kind of moth. It's a different critter on there. The caterpillars are caterpillars. They're either a moth or a butterfly larva. And that's what's they can eat your foliage. I don't get very much of my berries. There's a spittle bug. There's a bug that gets on there. It's like an aphid looking thing, but then it has this goo, has this white mucus stuff around. It's really gross. Looks like someone just hacked up a big one on your plants. It's very easy to kill. They're actually sucking the juice out of the canes, and if you see that, you can spritz them and it takes them right out. Completely organic spray. But if you see, some years I see it, some years I don't. It's just every year it's a little different. It's always something though. Just when you see it, it will be your entire neighborhood's coming to the garden center going, I've got this thing. We probably know what it is. When you pull the baggie out of when you're walking in from the car, we probably have already ID'd it for you. Because we've already ID'd it 20 times today. So you're never the only one. It's always the entire neighborhood. A couple bugs that can get on that. That's the only really two. Figs. This is for you Phoenix folks. These do not grow into trees here. Okay, so in Phoenix, you got, so they almost act like a perennial. They'll hibernate underground and come back fresh, bless you, back from the ground. And so you don't see fig trees, you see fig bushes. And they can be quite large. I mean, they can be tall as I am, like this big. I've grown them in containers. Actually, I like growing them in containers at the base, fig at the top. It just screams, I'm from Italy. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a bull. So I like fig, and they do form beautiful figs. The other thing to watch, figs are kind of like grapes. There are some that are hardier than others. You want to have the coldest hardy varieties from here. If you get those desert varieties, they can die off. They don't come back. You're blaming yourself. What did I do? You should shop at a place that curates all the plants for you. So we only sell the hardy varieties of figs here. So yeah, at Waters Garden Center. So the main thing here is full sun, blistering hot sun, the brightest spot you got. So that's the biggest thing. I've got pomegranates over there. Same thing. Pomegranates love the sun. Heat, more heat the better. Bigger the fruits. Again, they're going to grow. Pomegranates are going to grow more like a bush, less like a tree. You folks from Tucson, you're famous for your pomegranates. They're beautiful. I wish they would grow like that up here, but it's just the cold, the altitude sets them back some, so it'd be more bushy than they are more tree-like. But you can still have a nice big pomegranate. Yes.
Do the deer like the figs?
Do the deer like the figs? I don't think. I think the answer is no, but I can't quite remember. I've got a lot of facts and figures in my head, and I don't have my fig where the deer and javelina can get to it. I know the javelina will pick the fruits if they can. But they'll leave the foliage alone. So I've had mine on the front. They seem to leave that alone. Let's talk about mosquitoes and flies. 'Cause flies just hatched. In my yard, they just hatched, which means mosquitoes. Means we're warm enough. If you're going to be in your backyard and enjoy it, you're going to have some issues. And I got a couple tricks for you, a couple plants. One, a couple of these. Some plants are famous at repelling bugs. We usually use them in the gardens, but I think you can use them on the patios and the decks to do the same thing. So I brought a few of my favorites. So scented geraniums are probably it too, but herbs, raspberry and lavender, grow great in containers or just off the back. They'll grow anywhere. They get the blue flowers to them. And what I'll do is, instead of going home for dinner, I'm having guests, I'm having you over for cocktails or backyard barbecue. It's Father's Day. What I'll do, and you're thinking, Ken's such a gardener. His garden smells so good. I did it to keep the mosquitoes away. I mean, a few mosquitoes, and the ladies, they're indoors. The party's over. So that's gone. I want to make sure that doesn't happen. And so I just lightly missed and I purposely am planting a few key fragrant plants around the patio area just so I can do that. And it really does work. Probably the most famous of all, lemon grass. It's great big grass, flowy, it's beautiful, pretty. But if you petunias around it, you got yourself a garden. And so this one I brought, just a quick lesson for you. Oh, there's scented geraniums. There you go. So scented geraniums. Here, just take that, pass it around, and just. So scented geraniums are beautiful plants, but the flowers are not that pretty. They're small, and it's not like a regular geranium. But the fragrance is very citrusy. That's what they make citronella out of. I think that's a citronella geranium, actually. So, and then I brought this for you. I planted this one. It gets bigger. It's this big. It's the biggest of all the lavenders. The flower is not as significant, but I'm planting it out there for the butterflies, the hummingbirds, and to keep the bugs away. So I've got this in a great big pot. So my drip system, it's right there in the patio, and it's going to get gigantic. The wind's going to flow through it. It just is a beautiful, majestic plant. This is more famous though, because the flower size is just bigger. So the Spanish lavender is one that always makes the front cover all the garden magazines, but it's not my favorite. It's pretty though. So this one's just, they've got French, Spanish, and English lavender. The hardiest is the English. The next hardiest is the Spanish, and the French are just wimpy. They don't live through it. But the French is what you make all the potpourri with. So there's a place for it. You'll find all three over there. It can get kind of confusing, but it comes down to there's really only three kinds of lavender. English, which always has this airy look to it. Spanish always has the big flowers, and then the French has more thicker foliage, going for the oils. So, and then the last one I'll leave you with is for mosquitoes and flies specifically. Can anyone say mojito? So all the mints. So you'll see pineapple mint, chocolate mint. This happens to be spearmint, peppermint. All the mints are very good at repelling insects. So frequently I'll use this in a container garden. They'll just flow over the edge. What I'm after is you walking by it, brushing up against it. Go, oh, Ken's garden smells so good. It's by design. And then mainly I can hose it off and it repels the bugs. So that secret will kind of help you as well. Questions on bugs? Yeah.
Catnip to it as well.
Catmint, I'll do it. I just walked through real quick. Catmint, Nepeta, all those guys. There's a lot of them. So all of your herbs, pretty much. Basil, not so much. Thyme does pretty good at repelling, but I'm going for a little bit bigger plants that I can rub up against. I want foliage mass, so I can hose it off so that fragrance goes. So some of your smaller herbs are not quite. They'll repel bugs, but they're not big enough to do any real good. Personal experience. We love the outdoors. I mean, let's face it, our outdoors, they are an extension. We're so nice up here. It's an extension of our living room, it's a dining room or kitchen area. So we spend a lot of time up there, at least in our yards. Okay. All right. So your tomatoes, quick lesson. Your tomatoes should look like this. If it doesn't, here's what to do. Blossom set is a game changer. You'll find this works better here than other places. Again, it's altitude driven. It gets so cool at night, the plants literally start to shut down. Whereas in Phoenix, they're just growing 24/7. They grow much faster, longer. They never shut down. Here, they're kind of going, oh, I think I'll just go to sleep now. And so they forget to blossom and to set fruit. And so blossom set is forcing them to set more flowers and to actually pollinate the fruits. So the mistake people make with this is they're spritzing their flowers. Don't do that. This is all about the herbs, squash, cucumbers, eggplants. Some of these things are a little bit late. They want the summer to come. This will force them to kind of slow down and focus on flowers, not green foliage growth. A tomato, you have juiced the soil so much getting things ready. It's taking all that manure, all the nitrogen, all the fertilizer. It's just focused on grow, grow, grow. It gets sick. It forgets to slow down. It will set more flowers, more fruits. And then yield booster. I now have fruit on mine. Looks like this. Mine pretty much maybe a little bit larger. Got a few more. I've got a few flowers. So, but they're up to the top of the cage. They're starting to flower fruit. They're starting to do their thing. It's right on time. Okay. I'm now starting to use yield booster. This is a liquid calcium because that part of the fruit will just literally rot off. The squashes will just drop off. Those are all calcium deficiencies. This is liquid calcium. So right now, what I'm personally doing in my own gardens, I've got one of each. I'm spritzing 1 week with the blossom set, so it will set more fruit. The next week, I'm hitting them with calcium. As soon as I see the first fruit, I'm hitting them with this. Usually I'm out in the morning with my coffee, making my plants happy. And that'll get you more fruits rid of that rot, that blossom end rot. Okay. Yeah.
Spray the foliage with that.
I spray the foliage with this too. Yep. Yep.
I got calcium sulfate. I plant it with that.
Yes.
Every once in a while, I suck the soil and I put right on it.
So he's got calcium sulfate. Gotta love gardeners. Also called gypsum.
Yeah.
He's got. So he's using that. It's a good calcium source. And I'll put that in the ground when I plant them. But I just find I get better flavor, better fruits when I spritz it. Plus, I like gardening. It makes me feel like a gardener when I'm out there with my coffee doing this with this. And those are two things I can give you right now because we're just coming in to we got to get through the heat. As soon as that monsoon comes, things just start happening really fast.
So those work with tomatillos?
Yeah, exceptionally good with tomatillos. They're less problematic, tomatillos. Tomatillos.
Finished last year.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yeah. There too, if you have a tomatillo that didn't, that should be so many, they're like probably, that's that middle number. Remember, nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, phosphorus, that middle number, that's what causes fruits and flowers. So that's where probably the flower power would help you. It's 48%. It's as high as I could go in the recipe and without it basically settling to the bottom. So it stays liquid form. So it's available right now to the plant, that phosphorus. We call it flower power. Flowers. This is at the middle number, TOs. So yeah, make it be a game changer. Yep. Yeah. So this actually has a scoop in it. Let's just explain this. So this looks like a powder. You folks online, this is where the drama comes. So it's a powder. It's like Miracle-Gro, water soluble. You don't sprinkle on the ground. You can burn things like that. You put in your watering can. You add water to it. So it's a scoop per gallon. They might put 3. I don't know, but I'm going to juice them. And I'll just go and water my plants. And I'll do that probably every other week, a couple times a month. I'm using this. Just probably season's worth. But it's just game. It makes, if you're into flowers or vegetables, it's a great fertilizer. Yeah.
That worked for the grapes.
It can work for grapes too. Although grapes are such heavy feeders, I much prefer. This is steak and potatoes. This is like a Snickers bar. If you're thinking in terms of people, that's what it is. So you got tomatillos that are huge. They're just not, and you can blend the two together. So mainly I'm using this in the yard, in the ground. I'm using this in my containers and raised beds. That's how I personally use it. And I can sometimes blend the two together. I mean, it's pressure packed. I'm going to have the team over to my backyard for a party. Grab all the kids and family come over. The pressure's on because what's the first thing a garden center employee is going to do? Judge your gardens. You want them looking spot on. And so I'll make sure I do stuff, week, 10 days before, I'll make sure I fertilize and everything. Deadheaded, really looking good. And so I do that. Anyway, strawberries. I'll leave you with this, and then we're right at the hour. Strawberries do amazingly well here. Probably better than they do even in the Midwest or the South. You don't have to cover with straw, do all this crazy stuff in the winter. I just leave mine out there, and they come up. They're a ground cover. They're loaded with strawberries. The main thing is the fertilizer. The food is what brings out the berries, and they melt in your mouth. A way I think we can use strawberries is as a ground cover. We can use them yes, your grandparents lined them up in a row in the gardens and they were perfectly aligned, but I think front edge of a flower pot or the plant. It's almost, I mean, the berries are almost like frosting. It's just extra. The plant itself is beautiful. They can put on these runners, they'll touch, they'll kind of make another one, they keep running around. So as retention for erosion areas, I think we can get creative with some edible plants like this. And strawberries are a classic for that. So I use this the front, I grow a peach tree in a big pot. I've got this around the peach tree. Come on, that's a beautiful garden. It's gorgeous. And I can eat both that and this. So you can of gardening, play with that. With that, I will hang out as long as you want. Answer questions. I know those seats are getting hard. Thank you in the back for joining us too. So thank you guys online. Come in and see me. Say hi. Say you saw the class. That'd mean a lot. With that, look for that email. So wherever that clipboard, did that get around everyone? I've got three things for you. How to grow the best berries for containers, the medicinal herbs, for locals, and then how to water. Might have something. And then you have my personal email. You folks online, you already got it in the bar. With that, I'll let you go. After you do this, it makes me feel good. I'll let you clap. Yeah.